Hey, welcome back to the Loan Officer Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Kiles. Today's topic, great topic. Time is a printing press. And I have my dear friend, partner, Carl White on the podcast. And we did not talk about this in the green room. So we're going to leave it all out on the table. And I said, Carl, I got a topic. I want to talk about this. I've been on a lot of conversations, and thank you for so many of you jumping in the calendar and wanting to have a conversation. You've already got business running. You're doing $1 million, $2 million, $3 million a month and saying, how do I go to the next level? So many of you have been jumping into my calendar, and I appreciate it. And Carl, this is something that's coming up because look, as your business is growing, and here's where we see from 0 to 4, that's typically a discipline and a plan issue. How do I get from 0 to 4 units a month? But once you get from like 4 to 8 and 8 to 12 and 12 to 24, here's what we used to think. And I was guilty of it, Carl, and I want to hear everything you got on it. But here's what I was guilty of. I can't double from 8 to 16. You know why, Carl? I can't give any more time. I don't have any more time. And to double means more time. And so today's topic is time is a printing press. You've only got one printer, and it can only print one bill at a time. And you could choose a $1 bill or $100 bill. What do we do, Carl?
Hmm.
Isn't that
Great,
good? Like
great topic.
man. Well, and you're the one that, like, all this week I've been talking to these great loan officers, and I mean, Carl, doing big business. Like I was talking to one man, such a cool cat, closed 22 units last month. 22. And we know that this is really, so many loan officers are starting over. And the question is, Steve, how do I grow to 30, 35 units a month when I don't have any more time? And that's where it goes back to, how do I get more effective and not busy? Because your life is a printing press. And if I go chase a CPA, which could give me business this year, or I continue to build relationships with qualified agents, which can give me 2 or 3 deals a month, which one do I choose? And the visual I keep getting, and you and I have talked about it, is your time's a printing press. Like I can go do $1 activity or $100 activity, but I can't do both. Talk about that.
So I think, man, great topic, buddy. So I think a couple things entered my mind. So number one, to close more loans, we have to do less.
Mm,
We personally have to do less on each loan to close more. In other words, when Henry Ford was building one car at a time by himself, he built one car at a time by himself. And then when he wanted to start building more cars, he got help. And then he built 2 cars a day and then 3 cars. And now it's 3,000 a day
Dude,
or
you fire
30.
you. I just have to say, you fired me up, man. I love these conversations. You're 100% right. You
Yeah.
can't do more on the file. You got to do less.
You have to do less on each file to do more of them.
Yep.
So, so then the question comes. So that's question. So question number one would be, what part of the loan process do I delegate out, and
Mm,
when do I do that? So I don't think it happens, my opinion. I don't think it happens on loan one a month or loan two a month,
yep.
right? Because loan activity is not what's holding me back. It's likely what you just said: discipline and a plan,
That's
right?
right.
Discipline. Yeah, discipline will take. I've never heard that before, which I freaking love, man. That's really good. 0 to 4
It's
is nothing
discipline and a
but
plan.
discipline. Yeah,
And
hundred
then, and
percent.
then if you've got enough of the will to stick to it, that's all it is. You don't need any more help than give you a plan. And do you have discipline, get in the right group, moving in the right direction? But from 4 to 8, that's a different conversation.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to do less per loan to
Yep.
close more loan.
That's right.
However, in all my other time and all the other activities in my day, how do I decide what is a worthy activity
Mm,
and what's busy work that makes me feel like I'm busy, it makes me feel like I'm active,
yep.
but it actually doesn't move the needle. So I think we'd have to come up with a list of, or a way of identifying, this is a worthy use of my time, or this is making me feel important, it's making me feel special, it's making me feel like I'm doing an activity,
Yep.
but I wouldn't close any more loans if I stop doing that activity and start doing the crossword puzzle during that same time. it would have no effect on my business.
Yeah.
Like, how do we identify what that activity
Hey,
is?
hey, well, and you said something that was really good. I was talking to a loan officer this week, Carl, and she said, but I really like making sure the file is tight and we've got all the documents and it's fully pre-approved. And here's what I asked her. I said, let me ask you this. You double checking documents, verifying the application, running AUS, setting up the file, pulling in credit. How much money did it make you? And you know what she said, Carl?
Tell me.
Zero.
Zero.
I said, well, what did you do to bring? Because she was closing, I think, I want to say 8 or 9 loans this month. Great and good business. And I said, if you weren't doing that, how many more loans could you get a month? And she said, at least 4 or 5. So let me ask you this: if you got 4 or 5 more loans a month
Which which
by
is
not doing,
which we're talking an extra 15, 20
yeah,
grand, by the
if we're
way.
talking about 3 grand alone, and that's probably a good average, you're netting about three
Yeah.
thousand dollars alone, probably good. And I said, so I get that you like making sure the file's tight, and that's what she said. I want it tight and clean and make sure it's fully pre-approved. I said, but listen, if that's preventing you from getting 4 or 5, what's the ultimate goal? Do you want to process loans, or do you want to have a life and lifestyle that
Mm.
you've already told me that you're looking for? And I think that that's the dividing factor. You know, Carl, you talk about this. You were really good at taking loan applications. Talk about
Yeah.
that. You
Yeah.
remember that? Yeah,
So
you told me that story, and it's like, okay, it doesn't matter if you're good; it's not making you any more money.
yeah, when early in my career, I was taking on my own loan application. Well, there's nothing wrong with taking your own loan applications, by the way, up to a point. So when I started to grow where I could have somebody else helping with my loan applications, I really fought it against my mentor at the time, which was Ralph Watkins, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And Ralph told me, he said, Carl, if somebody else takes a loan application, it will be zero difference in your business. And I said, well, Ralph, that's not true because I'm really good at taking loan applications. He said, well, let me make sure I understand this, Carl. So you're asking them name, address, birthday, where do you work,
Social
and you're
security
really good at
number.
that. Congratulations, Carl. That's a high skill activity, right? Is being and I love my brother, right? So, but
He
he's
was
being a
just
little
calling you out.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's calling me out as a brother or
as a
sister
brother.
should,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
So he said, if you think that makes any difference in your business whatsoever, you're sorely mistaken, my friend,
Wow.
because they don't care who's asking those questions, right?
Hmm.
And I said, yeah, but I feel like I'm forming relationship with them then. He
Yep.
said, fine, find somebody that's got a little bit of a personality that can form relationship with them. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be you,
Yeah.
right? Because Mr. or Mrs. Sheridan
Yeah.
doesn't have a relationship with me for me to go stay at the hotel.
That's right.
Frankly, at the last one I went to, the guy that parked my car, actually, it was the Wyndham.
Yeah.
The guy where we had our boot camp here, we just finished up. Dude, the valet, man, that dude was sharp. Like
Yeah.
he knew how the game was played, right? And he made me feel special. And I remember when we left the boot camp, I called Diana. I said, you know what? Let's do the next boot camp. What a great place. She said, well, what did you like about it? And I started thinking, well, it was just awesome. It was great.
He
It
parked
was
my car where I wanted it, and it
it
was
was
there when I was done, and it wasn't moved.
it was valet. Yeah, it was valet. And so it wasn't Mrs. Wyndham or Mr. Wyndham. It
Yeah.
was
Wow.
having an awesome person taking my application for me, right? Made it
That's
easy
it.
for me.
That's
So
it.
so how do we decide, Steve? Like I look at my activities that I'm doing, and I'm doing all these activities. I'm doing my social media, I'm doing my videos, I'm doing learning new loan programs. I'm going to the realtors meeting at the local association.
Yeah.
I'm calling my past data. Like, how do we? I'm doing my payroll if I'm a branch manager. I'm doing my P&L.
Yeah.
I'm printing up flyers for the open
Yeah.
house this weekend. Like, how do I decide what's moving the needle?
Hey, here's what I would ask, Carl. What specific activities, and
Mm,
let's say there's 1, 2, or 3. Let's call it 3. Pick the
okay.
top 3 activities that you did to get the last 5 deals you just closed.
Mm,
And so I think, and that's the sincerity of it. Some people would say, hey, well, I got it. Where did your last 5 deals come from? It came from an agent. Awesome. And what you've taught me is, hey, okay, if it came from a realtor, where did you meet that realtor? Well, I met them by making an outbound phone call, or they were a listing agent on a
mm,
previous transaction and I reached out to, and we struck up a relationship and I continued to follow up. And guess what? We broke the trust barrier. She sent me the first
Mm.
referral. I did a great job. Okay. So, what did you do to meet the last person that referred you that business? Keep going upstream. And then let's just do more of that activity. And then you got to look at, okay, what I love, and I think the best telltale sign of your effectiveness is your calendar. You got to
Mm.
just look at it. And one of the things we do is it green money making activity or is it red? And the best thing you can do is just look back last week and at every 30 minutes, and you may say I didn't track it that well. Awesome. However you tracked it, was the time red or was it green? And here's what red time is. Red time is prepping your list. Red time is daily team meetings. Red time is checking your emails. Red time is checking social. Like those are not
Mm.
sales activity. Here's what we think about sales activity, Carl. It's got to be outbound proactive activity. So even when my phone rings, Carl, that's not green time. That was something I had to do something to get my phone to ring.
What was
So
that?
that's called sales fulfillment.
Yeah.
Sales fulfillment is, hey, the sales already coming in. My team or myself have to answer it, but you have to keep going upstream and being honest with it and saying, okay, well, it was a financial planner. Awesome. Tell me more about that. Where did you meet the financial planner? Well, it
Mm.
was a buyer at a open house. Awesome. Like, let's talk about how you got to the open house. And as you go further and further upstream, you'll realize what the actual activity was. Maybe you were calling qualified agents. Maybe you were insert in whatever it is, but that's the activity that if you did more of, you would
Mm.
double your business and do less of the busy work.
So let me tell you what I think is very valuable. I think what's very valuable is to have a Steve Kyles
Mm,
look at my calendar,
mm,
somebody that loves and
yep,
respects me, somebody that does it in a cool way,
yep,
somebody is doing it to help me, not hurt me.
yep.
Look at my calendar and frankly call, and like, hey, tell me more about this activity, Carl. Well, this is that. All right. Well, how many
Oh,
loans did that get you? I
yep.
think, here's a problem us salespeople have. The easiest sale that a great salesperson will make is fooling themselves that they're doing great sales
Mm,
activity.
mm,
Because I can sell myself on, yeah, but when I go out there and wash my car, somebody might be coming by and saying, "Hey, that's a nice car that you're washing there," and
yeah,
that'll give me an opportunity to have a relationship, a
yep,
business relationship with them, and maybe I'll get their loan,
yep,
right? And before I know it, I've talked myself into. I can go drive my car down by the beach, and maybe I'll get a loan by doing that, right? Or
yeah,
or some,
yeah,
I'll sit out there in my lawn chair or my beach chair, and somebody it'll give me opportunity to to share my mortgage uh geniusness with somebody. Like I can talk, like I can have it so the
mm,
crossword puzzle is a good use of activity when it's not, right?
mhm,
And so I think having a second party person, preferably somebody that's not in my organization,
mhm,
have a second party person take a peek in at my calendar and at my activity, and then me having to defend each thing that's on my calendar of
yep,
why that's worthy of being on my calendar. Let me tell you something. You do that with the right person,
yep,
and that can be a game changer. And again, there's no, well, I don't want them to see this. This is my dirty
yep,
little secret. Like,
yep,
just do it openly because it's not being done out of judgment. It's
yep,
being done to help you. And having
yep.
somebody else watching your activity, you know what it's like, man? It's like a spotter in the NASCAR race.
Yeah,
So for those of you who don't know
100%.
what a spotter is, the driver is running around the track, right? Racing on the track, right? But he's got or she has a lady or a dude that's sitting on top of one of the buildings. Every driver has one. They got a lady or a dude standing on a building that's overseeing the entire track
Yep.
and telling them,
Where your blind
"Hey,
spots are at. Yeah.
where do
Hey,
you blind?"
watch it. You just went three wide. Hey, I just watched it this weekend, man. It was crazy. And hey, you're too close. You're coming too close. The guy behind you is too close. Like
Yeah,
it's crazy.
because they can see the whole field
They
when
see
you're only
exactly.
seeing
That's
the
it.
driver's perspective.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
everybody's got a spotter,
Yeah.
right? And having a spotter in our mortgage business, very, very powerful thing. So
Hey,
great
and I know where
topic,
you're going
brother.
with this, Carl. Hey, listen, here, let's do this because we've been opening up more to the community here, and it's been great. I mean, the conversations are remarkable. And here's what I want to do. I want to do two things. If you're from 0 to 4 units, do this. Go like what we you need a plan, and that plan is at freedomplanningcall.com. Talk to one of our team members. What we're going to do is just show you our jump start through the mortgage marketing animals. And what that is this. It talks about what to do each day. It's a process to prospect, the activities, what to say, and it's the foundation of what will get you consistently to 3, 4, 5, 6. If you're somebody and you're listening today and you say, man, I'm doing about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, anything over 4 or more units, and you say, you know what, I'm running out of time. Because Carl, here's one of the things. What I believe is this. I believe, and you believe this too, is we double our business not by working more hours. We're not allowed to work more hours because family is a priority. And if you're, there's so many great loan officers I've talked to this week, Carl, that are doing 5, 6, 7. I talked to one yesterday and he hit 7. And you know what the concern is? That 7's going to drop back down to 2. And you know what I told him? In a 30-minute call, phenomenal call, I began to show him, hey, if we did this and we did this and we did this, you won't be on this crazy cycle of 7 down to 2, 7 down to 2. And one of the things I'd love to do as a gift for you, our listeners, so many of you, I'm getting to know at a deep level. If you're doing more than 4 or 5 units a month, and you're in that cycle where you're hitting 5, 6, 7, 10, dropping down to 4, book into meetupwithsteve.com. It's my personal calendar, meetupwithsteve.com. And I'll invest 30 minutes. And let's talk about you and your business. And like Carl was saying, hey, you need a spotter. I'd love to look in and see, okay, is there a blind spot or is there something we can do? Because working more hours is not that doesn't follow the values of family first. It's not an option. We always say, Carl and I always say, more hours is not the option. It's typically a who are getting more effective with the activity. Because remember, the whole podcast episode is your time is a printing press. And my question to you is, are you printing $100 bills? Are you printing $1 bills? Both of them spend, but if we can get you to printing $100 bills with your time, it helps you build the ideal life and lifestyle that you deserve. So, man, good stuff, Carl.
Yeah, great chat. What was that? Where do I go again?
Yeah. Hey, so on my calendar, it's meetupwithsteve.com, and it'll give you every 30 minutes I have available. Pick a time that works for you. We'll jump on a Zoom call and let's look into your business and see what we can do. If you're under 4 units, hey, listen, the right thing is this: invest in freedomplanningcall.com. And it's a jumpstart program that allows you to literally get the plan, start running the play, and have accountability through call stars. And so let's take some action today, because your time is a printing press, and either you're printing 1, 10, 20, 50, or $100 bills. And Carl and I's passion for you is that you have an ideal life and lifestyle that affords you the freedom to put family first and to have a significant business that runs without you being in the middle of it. And so we're passionate about it. I hope you got something from today's episode. Carl, you want to wrap it up with anything else?
Man, that's it. Having a spotter is an amazing.
That's
There's
crazy. Yeah.
zero championships won without a spotter.
Hey, well, listen, I was watching NASCAR this weekend, and that spotter, there was a 6-car wreck, and the spotter within inches got that car around the wreck. And they were talking about the importance. And I thought, there's no way a spotter can literally navigate it. But he did within inches. Instead of being a part of the wreck, he ended up zooming past and right getting to the front of the line. So it was
You
crazy.
know what? Clay, he's not emotionally involved in the wreck.
He's just
Well,
calling
he's
it,
half
man.
a mile away on top of a building with a pair of binoculars.
That's
And
it.
it's having that I'm not involved in the wreck, so I can
Mhm.
help you navigate through it. That's where the magic is.
That's it. All right. Well, listen, meetupwithsteve.com. Would love to book in my calendar. If you're under 4 units and you need a plan, go to freedomplanningcall.com. We'll help you with it. Hey, and remember this: anything worth doing is worth doing badly. Just get started. See ya.